Hello, and welcome to today's training on working effectively with Japanese professionals, particularly in the automotive industry. My name is Ace Belka, and today we will cover each of the necessary and appropriate insights into Japanese culture, focusing on how to collaborate within this context. To begin, some history. Japan had a transformation from a feudal society to what was considered at the time an industrial powerhouse, which began with what is known as the Meiji Restoration in 1868. This shift helped Japan's automotive industry rise globally, particularly post-World War II, with brands like Toyota, Nissan, Mitsubishi, Mazda, and Honda, many becoming symbols of innovation and quality. To jump right into this, let's look at some of Japan's cultural nuances when working with Japanese professionals, again, specifically in the automotive sector, and a lot of their other business sectors, to be frank. You'll see what I mean. First and foremost, respect for hierarchy and authority. In Japan, hierarchy and rank are deeply respected, much like military structures, which I ought to know, being in the U.S. Army RSP as part of the Utah National Guard. So, those formalities are important in pretty much all professional interactions, and they need to be respected. It's seen as a form of respect. Next is what is something that is referred to as kodawari, a commitment to perfection and excellence, if you will. It's kind of obsessive, but it is a defining value in Japanese culture. It's a commitment to perfection in every task, no matter how little, just because of the commitment. And of course, this has found its way to the automotive sector, where quality and precision are almost non-negotiable. It is perfection that must be reached. But with that in mind, patience and consensus in decision-making. This is actually one of the most important parts of Japanese cultural nuances, because decision-making in Japan often involves group consensus, which can take time and requires patience. Be patient and avoid pushing for quick decisions, as this could be perceived as disrespectful. So, very important. While Western societies might be quick on consensus or have non-consensus decision-making. So, what are some common mistakes or misunderstandings when interacting with Japanese counterparts? Non-verbal communication. Silence in Japan doesn't mean agreement. It often signifies thoughtfulness. Misinterpreting silence as consent or disagreement can lead to misunderstandings. Business etiquette. Simple gestures like presenting a business card with both hands or addressing someone with the honorific san of their family name are important, and these actions show respect and professionalism in a Japanese business setting. Now, there are ethical differences too. Japanese professionals may avoid directly addressing sensitive topics, and this can lead to misunderstandings. The transparency in these settings within a Japanese context are indirect. To get into those ethical differences, I'd suggest bringing up some context and being appropriate with it as necessary. It's better to build it up than to be direct, as that can lead to misunderstanding. Now, what are some comparisons? Well, formality and flexibility. In Western, particularly U.S. business cultures, they tend to be more casual and flexible, while Japanese culture is more formal and meticulous, just based on the studies. especially in dress and meeting protocols. And another comparison, as we've discussed, direct versus indirect communication. The US values directness. Japan, on the other hand, may rely on subtle or indirect communication. This can lead to confusion if you're not prepared for it, so be ready. And lastly, what is the overall recommended approach that I have for an effective collaboration with a Japanese business counterpart? First of all, build strong relationships. One of the most important things. Trust is built over time. That is something that is well understood in most cultures. Engage socially and strengthen your connections beyond just business and business meetings. Because in Japan, it is more than business. It is also a relationship with your character. So be ready for that too. Another thing, as we've also discussed, patience. Allow time for discussions and consensus building. Pressuring for quick decisions is seen as disrespectful, as we've discussed. Another thing, cultural sensitivity. Learning basic customs, bowing, using the honorific san, presenting business cards with both hands, and overall respect. That will show respect. And another thing, language and communication. If you're not fluent in Japanese, consider hiring a professional interpreter, not just for the language, but also body language, and to be present at meetings to avoid miscommunication and to also show your commitment to understanding their language. It will be ultimately respectful. So to wrap this up, so I don't go too much over the time limit, but I believe I did cover everything important. I did. In conclusion, working with Japanese professionals in the automotive industry will require your understanding of their values such as respect, perfection, remember, kodawari, patience, and group consensus. By embracing these cultural elements, you will build a productive, everlasting relationship with your Japanese counterparts, especially in the automotive sector, where all of these values are held to a high standard. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions in reply to this video. Thank you very much.